This is Rockin' with J-Man. It's with Like Divided. So how you doing, guys?
We are great. How are you?
Good, man. Just enjoying life, Well, my day is a little cloudy. My weather's a little cloudy. How about your guys' weather?
It's really hot, man. We're in Florida right now.
Oh,
Yeah, we're in Tampa, so it is crazy hot here. Where are you at in the country?
Buffalo, New York.
Oh, you're in Buffalo, New York.
Nice.
Okay, yeah, we've had some good shows up there. We love it up there. But yeah, down here in Tampa, man, it is.
Sweltering.
Yeah, it is so hot.
Last night, I was supposed to go to this concert. It's this Outer Harbor. It's this new venue. A riot happened.
Okay.
There was a riot. There was a riot.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
wild.
that sounds scary, actually.
Luckily, we didn't go, so we
Okay.
were in luck. But we saw it on the videos and stuff. It was pretty
Crazy.
I'll have to look that up when we get a chance to see what the hell
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
For those who are watching and unfamiliar with you, can you tell me all about yourself?
Yeah, like as far as the band, Adam, I'll let you take it since Adam's like a founding member in the band, and he's been in it the longest. So go ahead and you got it.
So we've been around for a little while. We started in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. It's kind of where home base was and sort of still is. And JC and myself are the original members that are left in the band still. And just over time, we switched around and kept experimenting with different sounds and touring and just doing everything we could to make it happen. And we'd known Doug for a long time. This is Doug. He's floating over my shoulder here. But he joined the band when we had need, and then we met Scott while we were on tour. He was playing in a band in Tampa where he's from, and started flying him up to play with us after a while. And yeah, so then JC moved a couple of years ago to Nashville, and then Scott moved about a year
ago to Nashville. Yeah.
to Nashville. So at one point we were in 3 states: North Carolina, Tennessee, and Florida, and then now we're at least consolidated to just Nashville and North Carolina. But,
And for any of your watchers that don't know, Adam plays drums, I play guitar, and Doug plays guitar as well. And yeah, and then there's JC as well as our singer, who's on vocal rest at the moment because we are on the road and touring, and we have shows for the rest of the week. Yeah, tour plague is hitting her pretty hard right now, so unfortunately she can't be here.
we don't know what it is, but every time we go out, it seems like at least 1 or 2 of us get sick. We call it tour plague. It happens every time we go on tour.
Yeah.
So she's taking care of trying to rest as much as she can because we're off today. We do another 5 shows in a row to finish out this run. So we're trying to keep her voice doing good and her feeling better so that we can keep performing to the higher standard, hopefully.
Yeah.
Your new single is Rain. Can you tell me about this track?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot to say about the song because it started. I mean, we started working on it over a year ago, and we had the bare bones of it, and we kind of had the idea. We knew what we wanted, and then we started rewriting it and reworking it so many times. It's gone through so many different transitions, before we finally got it to where we were like, okay, we're good to release this, and it's finally up to the standards we want it to be, So it went through a lot of rewrites with our producer and whatnot over the course of a year, but it's up to where we wanted it to be at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I think more so than almost any other song we've ever done. Like we kept toying with this one in the studio, and never feeling that it was quite where we wanted it. Thought it was a decent song, but definitely not something that we would release. Maybe like something that's more like album filler or whatever. But we finally feel like we cracked the code on it, and that's a lot of credit to JC. She's the one that spends a lot of time in the studio on it.
Yeah. Yeah. And the songs, it is about battling depression and a lot of inner demons that one deals with, and rain is sort of the term rain is sort of a metaphor for that. So yeah.
I hate that I have to speak for her because she's not here to say herself, but JC gives a speech before the song every night, kind of talking about it. But I mean, it really deals with having depression and feeling like you don't fit in and want to be there anymore, but also, you know, having to keep up appearances to the outside that everything's fine. So really this song deals with that internal quiet struggle that I think really everybody goes through. Whether you're clinically depressed or truly depressed, but just in general, trying to appear fine to the outside world.
When you're not on the inside, really. And yeah, and a lot of these songs, especially Rain, was really written and dove into during COVID when, you know, everyone was experiencing, even all of us, you know, extreme levels of isolation and loneliness and
Depression. I mean,
And
we
depression.
we had started touring almost full time right before COVID had hit, and then COVID really, like, we had, I don't know, 85 or so shows get canceled that were just in the 6 months between the time COVID hit and when we had booked until at that point. And you know, it was tough. It really just readjusted everything in everybody's life and what we couldn't do. And that was you know, I'm sure a lot of the lyrical content for her and the feeling
Yeah.
from her for that song kind of came out of that.
Yeah, I mean, we canceled at least 2 tours, if not 3.
Four.
Yeah, like
We had
4
4
tours,
tours booked.
all because of COVID. And it was just like, are we ever going to be a band again? Are we ever going to be able to tour again? You know, and then we just started writing like crazy in that downtime, you know, and now we have the music that we have now that we've come out with that, such as Rain. So yeah.
So this track is written 2 years ago. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of been written over the last couple of years. I would say the final version we've had for maybe 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
That it got really landed in its final spot.
We started it that long ago. I mean, the idea for it, you know, started and just kind of we started building upon it. But you know, like I said, we just kept reworking it. It just wasn't up to par, you know, and it was just like, it can be better. It can be better.
Well, it really kind of got stripped back to really focus a lot on the vocals, and JC redid all the vocal tracks on it. You know, right before the final version. So like the tracks and the vocals you hear on are not really 2 years old. It's just the song's been bouncing around that long.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a very different song from what it started off as 2 years ago. You know, it was a bare bones idea 2 years ago, and now it's, you know, fleshed out into the song that it is.
In this song, well, in this single, is about depression. So what gets you guys down then?
What was that? I'm sorry.
What gets us down?
What gets us down?
Man.
COVID and having to cancel tours. That's for sure.
Life work balance, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, we're not a band that's making, you know, the kind of money that we make a living off of this. So, you know, striking the balance between trying to pursue this as a passion and also pay the bills and keep the lights on at home. You know, that's a lot that contributes to my depression.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, for a lot of people, and JC, I wish you were here to be able to speak more to this, but you know, for a lot of people, like there isn't a specific thing that gets them down, you know. It's just when you're battling depression, it's just one of those things that it's there, it's always there, you know, whether there's a reason for it or not, you don't even know why you're just depressed. And you know, and some of Jace's lyrical content in the song is about that, you know. So I don't even know if there is a specific thing that, you know, gets people down that are battling depression and wrestling with that. You know,
Yeah. Sometimes it's life, sometimes it's chemical imbalance.
yeah, sometimes it's just it's just
sometimes life is hard sometimes.
yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
Doug, you got any specific you like to talk about? I know this is a subject near and dear to you.
Yeah, I mean, everything, man. You know, like when you're in a band, you spend a lot of time on the road, and you know, it's not as lucrative. It's not all fame and fortune like everybody imagines it will be. And so you spend a lot of your time at home just working all the time, trying to catch up on the bills and save up enough money to make sure everything's covered while you're out on the road. And yeah, it doesn't leave a lot of time for friendships or spending a lot of time with, you know, other people close to you, family and relationships, kids, and things like that. And all of that kind of takes a toll. It's kind of a lonely life, honestly.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, touring is a very lonely life. I mean, like, you know, my friends, when I'm home from tour, your friends stop texting you and wanting to hang out because you're always gone, you know. And then it's like you're home, and then everyone's like, "Oh, I would have invited you out, but I didn't even know you were home for tour. I figured you were gone," you know. Like, so it is very lonely, you know.
Yeah, and a lot of people kind of don't get it, you know, what we're doing. They're like, don't understand the level of commitment or the sacrifices or whatever, and they have expectations, and then you let people down, and then you know, it's hard to do this and maintain friendships and relationships sometimes. You know, people either not being supportive or not caring or not understanding.
Yeah,
It's yeah, plenty of things.
yeah.
Did you guys ever think about quitting when the lockdown was going on?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. Like, I mean, it's a hard business, man. It's a tough business, you know. And there's not a lot of money in it across the board, even for the top players in the industry. You know, money's scarce, you know, in the industry these days. So it is, yeah. I mean, you know, not gonna mince words. Like, yeah, you think about quitting sometimes, especially at the height of COVID when it was, you know, thought we were never gonna do this again, let alone, you know.
Well, we went through a bunch of stuff during COVID too, like internally as a band. Like we shed a member that we had that was a problem that was you know impactful to how we all felt about things. And then you know we were trying to record stuff and we were trying to figure out ways that we could move within that without being able to do what we're used to being able to do, like hitting the road and getting out there and really promoting new songs and stuff. So we had to kind of refocus and internalize. And you know it was more or less 2 years. I mean, like Scott changed careers during it. I took promotions at my job that I'd turned down because I didn't want to take on more responsibility, because I wanted to have kind of the ability to walk away a little bit better. You know, I had a kid during COVID. That changes the whole calculus of everything for me. Doug has 2 kids as well, and that, you know, that does impact things. And when we're dealing with, it's kind of one thing when we were running all the time before COVID, that like that's how life was, and we were able to maintain that, and we had that figured out. To have to shut down, reconfigure how our lives worked, and then coming out of COVID to try and reconfigure back to how it used to be is with all these new variables in our lives is a challenge. I mean, yeah, we've thought about it, but I think we've all decided against it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you know, we're lifers. We're gonna, you know, I'll keep doing this forever. So
Yeah, we've all got that kind of that drive. Like, this is what we've always wanted to do.
right.
And we've all got that inability to give up. But you know, we do think about it. You know,
Yeah.
I think the more downtime there is, I think it kind of starts to set in, and it's like, you know, would it be easier? Would life be easier, less stressful if we didn't have to do all of this?
Right.
You know, but then once it comes time to hit the road again, that goes away.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that's right. I love this.
Yeah, we love it, man. So I mean, we're not quitting for sure.
Well, it's
You
like-
know,
I know the longer that, like, you know, if we tour, do a couple tours or whatever, and then it's been a little while that we've been off and haven't really done much except for behind the scenes stuff. Like, it starts feeling like tour was a dream I had a while back, and like it's not real reality or whatever until I get back on the road again, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is life. Okay, I like this.
yeah. Not to be too depressing. I mean, I guess we are promoting a depressing song, but
Well, I mean, so this band in general has always lyrically tackled things that are the sort of the theme is tackling things like depression and overcoming it by the end, right? So like if you listen to like our other records or stuff, like we kind of start one way and we always try to end on like an uplifting note that's sort of like, well, yeah, all this shit happened, but it gets better and it can be okay. And I think that's generally the message of the band, is that the struggle is real and we're here and we see you, and we can all find our path to happiness and success. It's just the struggle to get there.
yeah.
You have over 2.8 million Spotify streams. What is that in dollars?
About $6.
Yeah.
Not
I
enough.
can tell you.
Not enough to do
2.8
much.
million.
Yeah, I can do that too. You got it.
I don't.
That can't be
No,
right.
that ain't right.
Yeah,
Well,
maybe, but that's
Over
over
the
the course of
years.
that's over the course of the years.
it's about 10 grand maybe,
Yeah,
10 grand.
but that's over. You know, I guess really Fear of Heights back in 2018 was probably the first one that really hit for us. So that's over the last 5 years.
Yeah.
So is each like million Spotify streams worth like $5,000?
So basically, yeah, something like that. It's like 6/10 of a penny per stream.
Yeah.
I think is what our royalty rate is, and I think it might differ for different bands and
It
different
does,
situations with different
on
labels.
with label, each record label has a different agreement with the digital service providers, with
Sure.
how much they get paid out for them. So, and that also, I think it also depends on your distributor, you know, who your distributor is. So it varies, but that's a good estimate. That's a good idea of the basic idea of it, you know. It's pennies, you know. I mean, if you were gonna graduate college and get a job that paid you $10,000 over the course of 5 years, split between 4 or 5 people, you'd be like, "Well, this isn't very smart."
Terrible.
You can work at McDonald's and make more.
Yeah, I mean, especially too considering the amount of money that goes into recording the thing and then to promote the thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I mean, we do a lot on foot ourselves as much as we can, posting them out on social media and stuff. But like,
yeah,
you're really never going to get tractions unless you're hiring a professional to help you to do PR, to do, you know,
everything. I mean, production, like everything. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, we've been fortunate that we've done, I feel like, pretty decent with our Spotify plays and stuff like that, and that number is very, very important to us.
Yeah.
But it does kind of lend itself to other opportunities, because Spotify is such a metric that everybody uses in the industry now. You know, the same way that way back when it was your Facebook followers or your MySpace followers a million years ago.
Right.
So it is important and it's great, and we have made some money off of it, and that's awesome too. That we probably wouldn't have gotten any other way, but you know, it's definitely not keeping the lights on.
Yeah, I mean, it maybe covers our expenses as a band at best. Not even that though. You know, it's not like we're able to pay ourselves much from it. You know.
Well, when we decide we want to do a new run of T-shirts or whatever, usually we can pull out of what we've got there, and it helps us get startup fee costs for, like, you know, a new design or whatever.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's every little bit helps. I mean, being in a band nowadays is about revenue streams, right? So having multiple revenue streams, be it like touring, streaming, physical sales, online sales, performance royalty rights. You know, if you're lucky enough to get song placement in commercial or TV or something like that, with sync licensing, like all that stuff. If you can get all these different revenue streams, it might be, you know, $100 here and $500 here and $3.50 here. But if you can pull them all together,
it adds up.
Then it adds up, and then maybe you can kind of figure out a way to make it all work.
Yeah.
And your music is used by a wrestler for the theme song. How did that come about?
So we, like, forever ago, this guy reached out to us and asked us if he could use one of our songs for this like independent horror movie that he was working on that I think ended up on Amazon, and I couldn't tell you the name of it to save my life. I'd have to look it up. Anyway, this same guy years later ended up being I don't know his official title, but he's doing
a producer.
He's doing like music producing for AEW. So he reached out to us and had the idea. He had the song already, so like we didn't write the song. JC just does the vocals on the song, so it's just like featuring JC Clark of The Light Divided. So, but he reached out to us and asked her if she would come track the song and stuff. So she did, and it's been really cool. And Layla Hirsch is the wrestler for
AEW.
AEW.
Yeah. Yeah, and she's awesome too, man.
She's really cool.
Yeah,
we've had a little bit of communication with her.
Yeah.
And she's been really cool. So it's been pretty interesting. Definitely a different avenue than I thought we would ever find for us. But
it turned a lot of wrestling fans on to us, which is super cool.
Yeah,
you know,
because those guys are passionate about stuff they're fans of, and that's really great.
Yeah, and Layla Hirsch, the wrestler, was really happy with the song. She loved it, so that was really cool too.
We've talked about maybe doing some other stuff with them. Like, I know that JC's had some discussions with this particular guy, but I don't think anything's come to fruition yet. But like, it's a partnership that we're of course, interested in expanding upon if the opportunity comes about.
Yeah.
So do you guys get like paid every time she wrestles then, or like when she comes
No.
on?
No, our deal with him was it was a flat fee. I mean, so we don't have like the
Publishing
rights or
yeah.
whatever because we didn't write the
We
song.
didn't write it. Yeah. So
She's just a guest feature vocalist basically, so she got a flat fee for doing it. Now if we did something else, you know, if we wrote the whole song or whatever, then it would be a different structure or whatever.
right, but he approached us and he already had the song. You know, he pretty much had the whole song. He was like, "Here's what I have. You know, I just want Jace's voice on it." So,
Right.
yeah, that's kind of why.
So you guys don't get like free tickets to like AEW now or something? You guys don't get free
We
tickets?
probably could. Like,
I don't know.
yeah, we could. Like, we could reach out.
Like front row seats? Or just like
I don't know about all that.
Yeah, I don't think we're that important.
Put a stick in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm sure that if we reached out to him, like if AEW, like I live in Nashville, so I'm sure if they like came through Nashville and I wanted to go, I could reach out and
Maybe they could hook us up.
yeah, they could probably hook us up. I'm sure, or Layla Hirsch probably would. But I don't really know where AEW. Are you an AEW fan?
yeah, I went to one of the things. It's pretty cool.
Is it? That's what I hear.
Yeah.
I don't think any of us really watch a lot of wrestling.
No, I'm not really a wrestling fan. I mean, I know I definitely admire the production value that goes into all that stuff.
Oh, I
physicality, but
I admire everything about wrestling, man. It's an amazing sport. Those guys are like, you know, the theatricality of it and like just the talent to go.
athleticism.
The athleticism, the talent. I mean, it's an art form. Like a lot of people don't realize or understand that like it's an art form. And even though I don't really watch wrestling. I have all the respect and appreciation in the world for the art form. So, but yeah, long story short, we don't really. If it came through Nashville, if AEW did, like I'd go. I'd hit them up and ask them if I could get tickets. And yeah, I could probably get some tickets. Why? Do you want some?
So what was the last concert you went to where you guys didn't perform? Like your own like enjoyment?
Like personal concert that I went to that I wasn't playing or anything?
Yeah.
Well, I go to a lot of concerts for my job too, because I work for a record label. So I'm constantly, I mean, I go to concerts all the time, but concerts as far as like one of my favorite bands or something like that, that, you know, was great. The Home Team. I saw the Home Team in Nashville at Basement East. And it was fantastic. I'm completely obsessed with that band right now. Thriller Records band. If you're not familiar with them, look them up, man. Just unbelievable pop punk band. They're so good. And yeah, that was the most recent concert I saw right before I left for tour, I think. That wasn't work related that I went to just for the joy of it. What about you guys?
I don't really ever get a chance to go out anymore.
They don't do anything.
The last time I saw a band, it wasn't that long ago actually. I went and saw one of my friends' bands from the town I live in. Another pop punk band called No Scope. They're actually gonna be.
Oh, yeah.
They're gonna be playing with
Yeah,
us.
they're homies.
They'll be doing our show in Greensboro with us.
What were you gonna ask? I'm sorry, buddy.
Well, how was it?
Excellent. Those
Mhm.
guys put on hell of a- a lot of energy. They're a lot of fun to watch.
I got to go see Stevie Nicks. I fell backwards into getting the tickets. It was not something I had planned, but a friend had tickets available, and somebody didn't go, and so they offered it to me, so I went, and it was incredible. Stevie Nicks is incredible. Not something I would have necessarily like went out of my way to go to, even though I do like Stevie Nicks, but like, yeah, it was a really good show.
Yeah.
Got me in the heartstrings when she started doing Tom Petty tributes a lot.
Yeah,
So a lot of tribute to Tom Petty. So
That's super cool.
What do you guys think about AI?
Oh, it's
it's
scary, honestly, as an artist. Like it really is. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It's a balance because you have to find that balance where you want to embrace technology, you know, but at the same time, it's going to completely revolutionize and change this industry and all industries, honestly, but particularly the music business. You know, it's going to change this industry completely as we know it. And it's scary to think about how we're going to tread those waters and get through it and figure it out, you know, as I'm sure like I wasn't so much in the business when, you know, when like Napster and online streaming first became a thing. You know, I'm sure that artists at that time felt like, oh my God, how are we going to navigate this? What's going to happen? And a lot of artists probably didn't survive as a result, you know, and that's probably going to happen with AI too. So it's that aspect of it is scary. So, but you can't be afraid of or run from technology. You have to figure out how to embrace it and utilize it to your advantage. So I think that's what everyone in the industry is trying to do right now, including us, you know, is try to figure out, okay, how can we use this to our advantage and not be afraid of it?
Yeah, I mean, so like for example, like we used it on Rain to do analytics on it to like figure out what songs are similar and like what it just had all these different things. There's some interesting tools that you can feed a song into and it'll give you like certain like analytical stuff based on the anyway.
The analytical aspect of AI is incredible.
Yeah, so it's both very exciting and very terrifying.
Exactly.
It's exciting because it allows to really deep dive and go to a new level of things like that and analyzing things. And it's terrifying because I mean, I think it was Drake that they've been doing this to a lot, where they'll say, well, you know, they'll have AI make a Drake doing a Green Day song, and it sounds just like Drake singing a Green Day song. And that's, you know, that's terrifying because that's his rights to his voice. And yeah, I mean, you'll say, well, Drake, he makes millions and millions of dollars, and that's true. We don't. And somebody can do that to us tomorrow.
Well, it's the Metallica versus Napster argument from like 20 years ago.
Sure.
You know, like Metallica fought Napster so hard for that reason.
But on the flip, Metallica was getting their songs stolen.
Right. Fair enough.
Not new songs written to sound like them by a computer that they would never have the rights to begin with.
Right.
Debate on.
So like the digital rights management for this whole thing and how legally who's entitled to what and how that works is something that's going to be really interesting how it's sorted out. I mean, you're seeing it right now with the strikes for the Writers Guild and with the Actors Guild. Is some of that stuff is centering around AI, and how the film companies want to use it, and you're going to see the same thing with musical companies and with music companies trying to protect, more specifically labels, trying to protect their investments in artists.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really interesting to see how where that all lands with Congress and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we're in the Wild West right now.
Yeah, we are. It's literally the Wild West. Once again, we're back in the Wild West of the music industry, just like 20 years ago with streaming and digital content. You know, everyone trying to navigate it.
So, what do you think about ticket prices getting super high for a lot of bands?
That it sucks.
Yeah.
And that there's a lot of people that make a lot of money off of art that they don't make.
Yeah. The sad reality of it is, you know, there's not a lot of money to be made in the music business. You know, there just isn't anymore because of streaming and all these things. People don't buy physical CDs or albums anymore. And that was when, you know, that's where the money is. So the reality is that like everyone across the board in this industry is taking more and more from the artists just because they're trying to make money to survive themselves, you know. So the artists end up getting it hurt the most, you know, because it's, you know, everyone's gonna get their paycheck, you know, they're still gonna get paid, you know. So it's like the artists end up suffering as a result, and it sucks. I mean, it's awful, and there's very little that, especially smaller artists like us, there's very little we can do about it, if anything at all.
Well, they do all this stuff with surge pricing and whatever based on demand, and it's not like the artist sees any more of that money.
Right, exactly.
You know,
exactly. So
there's people like Taylor Swift that are taking that money and giving it out to their crew, and like that's really awesome because crews work hard and sometimes don't get paid a lot. But like, you know, it's squeezing blood from a stone.
That's exactly right.
For a band like us, if they start adding all these fees on top of the tickets, where, you know, the ticket provider is making more money than we are.
And not to mention the fact that we're not a huge band. So people see the ticket surge prices and they're like, I'm not going to, I'm not
that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not paying for that.
On the flyer, it says $15, and then I go to buy the ticket online, and it's $35 all of a sudden because there's $20 worth of fees. They're charging each person individually for parking, even though 4 people are riding together in their car.
Right.
It's not even a paid parking lot.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just the fees and shit that they charge is outrageous sometimes, and I think hopefully there's going to be a lot done about that soon because I know there's a lot of legislation kind of being kicked around to sort of do some truth in pricing. But
Yeah.
we'll see. But yeah, it sucks, and it definitely does not help the industry, and it definitely does not help smaller artists like ourselves.
Nope.
What's life like for you guys on the road?
Chaotic.
It smells funny.
Smells bad. It's chaotic. It's, every day is something totally different. Every day is a different, different city. So it's a totally different adventure. It's interesting. I'm like the least routine person on the planet at home. I hate routine, but like when I'm on tour, I absolutely have to have a routine. You know what I mean? Like, because there's such a lack of it when you're on tour that like I find myself like every day, like first thing in the morning, like I gotta wake up and like go figure out how to like baby wipe myself or like clean myself, and just any kind of routine I could possibly find when I'm on tour, I take advantage of, which is again really weird because my home life is totally different. Like I'm not in any kind of routine at all. But yeah, that's what tour life is like. It's chaotic. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, a lot of really hard
It
work.
is. Yeah. It's nonstop.
We don't have a crew. We've got a sound guy. He helps out, but for the most part, it's us four and him. We do all the driving. We do unloading all the gear, setting it all up, our instruments, our amps, our cabling, lights, microphones, whole sound setup, all that. We do it all
Run merch.
ourselves. The
Yeah.
merch setup,
Yeah.
then play the show and then hang out a little bit and then tear it all down and pack it up, load it into the trailer, and then start driving through the night until we fall asleep. Wake up the next day.
Hopefully not while driving.
Yeah.
Sometime.
But no, I mean, I think the only plans that I make when we're on tour is that we have to be at this venue by this time on this day. And then the next day we have to be at this venue by this time on that day. And everything that happens between there, who the hell knows? But we got to be there at 2:00 tomorrow, and we got to be this one at 4:00 the next day. So
Yeah.
how we make that happen is just, I've given up on making plans.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to like be like, okay, yeah, we're gonna go check this out in this city and this out in that city, and we're gonna go eat here or whatever, and do the touristy stuff that we'd love to do and go check out cool stuff that's in each city. But like, if you start making plans and get married to plans like that, then you're gonna be late for everything.
Yeah. Exactly.
So we try not to make a whole lot of solid plans other than we're gonna be at the venue at load-in time.
Yep.
What's the best venue you've ever played?
For me, it's House of Blues, but it wasn't with I Like to Buy. I was in a previous band. House of Blues are great to play. What's the best venue we've ever played as a band? It's a very hard question to ask because there's some really great venues out there.
I think rock. I mean, like it was a rock fest in Wisconsin. That second stage that we played
That was pretty
really cool.
What about as far as like an actual venue though? Like Orange Peel in Asheville? That's a
That
pretty
was
great
pretty
venue,
cool.
right? Yeah. Orange Peel in Asheville, North Carolina is pretty great.
I love Masquerade in Atlanta too.
Yeah.
They have loaders. It's like a hellaciously long hallway, but like the staff there is so professional, and that like makes a big difference.
Yeah. Masquerade in Atlanta is fantastic to play. There's a lot of great venues, and there's a lot of venues that maybe even if they're a little bit smaller or something, but the staff is fantastic, and it's just like love playing there just because it's great people to work with and great staff and
Yeah.
things like that.
Our sort of hometown home base is a place called Hangar 1819 is what it's called now. But it's a pretty good size. It's a decent sized middle road venue, but it's home, so we know what to expect there, and like we almost
Yeah.
like build our stage show around it because it's
Yeah.
like one of the places we play so much.
And they treat us great. So
Yeah.
And they have great sound.
they have great sound. Yeah, exactly. So yeah.
What's that
And
place
what's
we
the
played?
worst?
Oh God.
Oh.
Ooh.
So I hate to
don't
name
think it's open
names.
anymore.
So I'm not gonna name names, but I will say that there was a place in where was that? The venue on the Lakeshore tour. And it was outside of it was in PA, I think, somewhere outside of Philly, like right outside of Philly.
I do not remember the name of it, but I remember what you're talking about. Like they were like 4 hours late for load in, and like we're just standing there trying to not
Oh,
have to give the bums any money to leave us alone, waiting, hoping somebody's gonna show up so we can load in and play a show for 4 people.
What about that place in Pascagoula that smelled like cat piss?
hey, I love that place.
Caught the PA
I love
on fire.
that.
Yeah, the PA burst into flames towards the end of our set. That was interesting.
I love that place. So again, I'm not gonna name names, but It's a great,
Yeah.
it's a fun venue. Like they've always treated me well. It was kind of a shithole, but
Kind of, yeah.
There were little in the stage.
Yeah.
fun to play though, that's for sure. Kind of.
We've played some really interesting places.
We have, yeah,
Yeah.
we certainly have.
Do you guys have a ritual before you guys go on stage?
We usually do like a quick fist bump. You know, we kind of do a quick fist bump and, you know, everyone have a good show and stretching. You know, definitely because we bounce around quite a bit. So I try to get a good stretch in, man. That way I'm not super sore and in pain the next day, especially when you're on tour and you got to do this every night, you know. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Just, you know, a lot of water, some stretching, and a quick little fist bump with each other before we go out there.
Yeah. My anxiety level before we play is usually fairly high.
Yeah.
Not like crippling or anything like that. Nothing crazy, but like usually I'm just going through my brain. Like, did I do this? Did I do that? Is
Yeah.
that there? Is that there? Oh my God. Is this plugged in?
Right.
So like, I don't really have a ritual other than to just make sure all my shit's put together, right? You got anything personally that you like?
No, usually I'm so busy making sure everything's set up and then
Yeah.
running around doing a bunch of things. And then by the time it's time to play, I'm like you, getting everything checked to make sure everything's working.
Yeah.
Things aren't falling apart, and then fist bump and go.
I always tie my shoes really hard before I go on stage because for whatever reason, man, my shoes always come untied on stage.
You put your shoe up on my drum rack the other day, and I was like, I don't know if you saw it. I pointed at
I
my
saw
drumstick
it.
in the middle of the play. I was like, shoes untied.
They're always untied. I swear before every show, I like tie them like as hard as I possibly can. And 2 songs in, they're flopping around, and
This
I'm
is
like,
really
"Ugh."
dangerous for you, and I hope I get to see what happens. Hope I'm paying attention to you when it finally happens.
Yeah, I feel like there's people in the audience who are like, shoes untied, nerd.
I actually had a former band member tie my shoe in the middle of the song for me when it came undone.
Damn, that's very nice of him.
Yeah. What happened to that guy? We fired that guy.
We
Didn't
did.
we? Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. That's the nicest thing he ever did. The only nice thing. Whatever. Anyway.
What's your favorite memory from playing a show?
Oh gosh.
Mm.
Oh, you know what? I can take this. When we did Greensboro, North Carolina, which is sort of our hometown venue, right after COVID, we came out and just had an amazing show, man. And I remember everyone in the audience just like, we packed the place out and everyone was singing along and like holding up heart signs for us and pitting super hard. And it was just such a great feeling to like, it was just kind of like, it's going to be okay, you know, because like I said, there was a moment there during COVID where it was just like, oh my God, we're never going to play again. Career's over. This is done, you know, and then to do that coming out of COVID and for that to be like the first show back from COVID was just such a, not just a sigh of relief, but it was just like, it was great. It was a great feeling, man. Like,
Yeah.
it was awesome.
I think, you know, everybody had a certain amount of trepidation because like for us, we're like, oh, we're finally going to play a show. Does anybody still care?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, you know, then having the audience
Care.
you
Yeah.
know, it was really, yeah, I'll go with that too.
Yeah. It was a great memory for sure.
Yeah, I really liked when we did Rockfest in Wisconsin. It was a really big crowd there, and they were really great. They were going nuts, and there were a lot of people actually singing along, which I was surprised.
Yeah.
I didn't really expect there to be a lot of people that were familiar with our stuff there.
Yep.
I got to give a shout out for that show in Rockfest though. And I'm always going to do this anytime we talk about it. Because we were technically our time slot was rained out. But we were on tour with a band called Lydia Can't Breathe, and they were playing the next slot on the same stage, and they were alternating stages. So we managed to set up both drum sets on stage and sound check both bands so that we ended up being able to still play. We just ate into about 5 minutes of their otherwise set time, and we had to do a really abbreviated set, but we wouldn't have got to do that if Lydia Can't Breathe didn't give us some of their time.
Yeah.
So
Big
those are
thanks to them.
those are our homies, and we thank them for that because we definitely got to do some cool stuff at that show, and that show was huge for us, and because they were willing to, you know, help us out.
Yeah.
Another thing from that show that Adam also talks about is the drum riser thing.
Yeah, they wheeled him out in a drum riser. It was pretty great. It was a
Yeah,
fun
well,
concert.
it was a pre-sound
The
check.
whole drum riser had like wheels on it.
Yeah.
So they set up his whole drum kit on it backstage, and then while he's out like setting up his drums and everything, sitting at his throne, they came and just wheeled him out on a drum riser with a full drum kit,
This is a-
wheeled him onto the stage.
Most rock star thing I've ever done in my entire life.
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
There's video of it somewhere.
But yeah, so that was yeah, a lot of good memories.
What is your worst?
Being broke down on the side of, or actually being broke down in Denver when our former small tour bus that we had finally shit the bed.
I think we'd all agree with that. Like, yeah, we broke down in Denver and our bus died, and
It
That
was
was a
it was
hard
it was
one.
gonna be like $4,000, $5,000 to fix it. Like we literally had to get almost most of the engine replaced, and
yeah,
it wasn't worth that much to do. So for a couple of days, we didn't know what we were gonna do.
we didn't even know how we were gonna get home. Like, it was
Yeah.
bad. We were stranded in Denver. I mean, it sucked. That was a
Like,
very bad time.
We thought we might have to cancel the rest of the tour and like rent a truck to tow our trailer home.
Yeah,
We didn't know what we were gonna do, and then my dad actually helped us out, which I got to throw a shout out to him too. He gave us some money, and we were able to go put a down payment on a brand new van.
which we still have.
And that we bought. We had about 8 hours on a Saturday to go find a brand new van, and he gave us enough to get the down payment off on it, and we loaded everything up, hit the road. We missed a couple of show dates, but
But we finished the tour.
We did finish
Yeah.
the tour, and we're in the same van now, and it's running pretty good.
Yep.
So.
What is next for you?
More music. We are going to announce another tour soon.
Yeah, we plan to, and hopefully put up another song this year is the plan.
Yeah, we're gonna keep every couple months, pouring and releasing new music. We have a lot of music on deck to release, and a lot of tour dates to announce. So there's a lot coming.
How do my followers follow you?
Wait, what was that? I'm sorry.
How do my followers follow you?
You can find us on pretty much whatever platform.
Yeah.
If you just search for a Light Divided, we're on Facebook, X. Actually,
Yeah.
we don't really use it very much.
TikTok. We're on TikTok. We're on
YouTube,
Instagram. We're everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just Light Divided. It's just a Light Divided on everything. It's easy to find. Follow us. We'll follow back. We certainly appreciate the support.
Do you guys got any cool merch?
Do we have any cool merch?
Sure do.
Yeah, we got quite a few T-shirts. I think that are pretty cool.
Yeah, we have an online store that anyone can shop
We-
at and see.
We don't have our shirts online at the moment. They're pretty much just if you come see us live.
I stand
But I
corrected.
think we're working to expand our online footprint because
Yeah,
we have a hard time getting things shipped out sometimes. So I'm working on fixing that problem, and then we'll expand our online offerings as far as that go. We're also selling out of a bunch of crap, so we're gonna have to
Yeah.
order a bunch of new shirts. So this tour has decimated our inventory so far.
there are worse problems to have.
They are worth it.
You know you're gonna have to hook up your boy with some fresh gear, bro. Come on, man.
Yeah, I got you, man.
Yeah.
Just
Almost
drop us
like
a line
right-
afterward. Shoot us a message, and if I can get you some AEW tickets, I'll do that too.
We'll hit somebody up.
Yep.
So fun question time. You're on death row and it's time for a final meal. What's on the menu?
Ooh.
Pepperoni pizza. Final answer.
Not surprising anyone there. So mine would either be, and it'd be a tough decision. It'd either be like lobster or a filet mignon steak cut, medium rare. So preferably both, but if I have to choose one or the other, I'd have to sleep on it for a minute.
I don't know, man. I'm torn between like Mexican food or Italian food. I don't know why I'm craving Italian food today. Like I really want a really nice home cooked lasagna right now.
He's on death row and it's his last day.
What
Yeah.
about some Alfredo?
But I mean, yeah, I'm gonna go with that. A really good home cooked lasagna.
So
What about you? What would you like? I'm curious.
what
this one?
would I have? I would probably have a massive pepperoni pie and then a couple slices of chicken wing pizza, and then I think just give me 50 wings, and then I think that's it. Maybe
Yeah.
a
We
taco or
can hang, guy. We
quesadilla.
can hang.
You're
I
in,
see you.
you're in Buffalo. You got good wings there, man. That's good
Yeah.
stuff.
Bro,
You know?
Buffalo Wings. What can I say?
Yeah, they're great. Yeah, we played Stamps. You know Stamps up there? I think it's in Tonawanda, actually.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it's a little outside of Buffalo, but we played there last tour, and it's a fun spot, man. Yeah, you
Tiny
guys.
spot, but fun spot.
Yeah, but great wings, man. Great wings.
I like going to Buffalo because we've ended up at Niagara Falls a
Niagara,
couple
yeah.
times.
That's
We-
good. That's really cool to see.
We had a really cool day.
Yeah,
There, the last tour that we ended up that way, we were with Us Set to Kill, and we all went that day to Niagara Falls before the show and got to hang out and spend a day broing down with the other band. So
Yeah.
that was always cool.
Yep.
Yeah, the falls are very beautiful, and like I believe it's in Canada, or we might have one here, but there's like hotels in Canada right by on the Clifton Hill. There's like a hotel, like it's like Niagara Falls view. It's so beautiful, like
It does look like most of the cool stuff's in Canada, though, like
Yeah.
all the casinos and stuff are on the
Yeah.
Canadian side.
no offense to my hometown, like well, city. Our city's horrible. It's filled with crime. It's the only good thing that we got here, sadly, is the casino, the big casino, and then the falls. That's all we got here. And we don't even got the good version of the falls.
Well,
It's beautiful, but it's not a good city.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you could have any superpower, what would you choose?
well, I know this one.
Go for it.
Teleportation.
Teleportation.
Yep. I would like to be able to just teleport to wherever I would like to be. To hell with these 8-hour drives.
Yep.
And that's that.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Ever since I was a kid, I wanted to be able to just like instantly.
I'd like to avoid being blue and having a tail like Nightcrawler, but I want to do what Nightcrawler does.
What about you?
I don't know. I have not really given much thought to that, to be honest. Let me think. I guess superpower, so I could stand up to the bullies that beat me up.
Super strong.
Super strength, yeah.
Yeah.
I get beat up a lot by
No,
bullies like
I'd
these guys. These guys beat me up.
Act right.
It's a basic
like
one,
to
but it's a
freeze
really good
time.
one, my opinion.
Yeah.
What's that, buddy?
It's a basic one, but it's a pretty good one. Super strength.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, my girlfriend abuses me. I'd like to be able to stand up to her and, fight back a little bit.
Hey, that little girl been beating you up, Scott?
Yeah, man. She's mean.
Jesus Christ. Way to go, Haley.
She's fierce.
No more.
Probably.
I won't take this pain.
Exactly.
You have all the super strength you want. I'm just going to teleport behind you, grab you, teleport up in the air 100 feet, and let your ass go. And then teleport away.
I would freeze time.
I'd
like-
like to take
Yeah,
mine.
yeah, that's what I would want. Time manipulation. It's like where you
Out.
can
Yeah.
Yeah.
you, like stop
be great.
time, fast forward time, or like rewind
Rewind.
time. I think that's a
Yeah.
really cool ability.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Need the Tom Stone, bro. I'm that guy. I'm that
You're
nerd.
that guy? You're gonna be
I'm that
Thanos? You're gonna be Doctor Strange?
I'm not entirely sure Thanos was wrong. I'm gonna be real with you.
You
Bro,
would
with
think
how like the Earth acts, and, like how people act sometimes, I sometimes agree with Thanos. Sometimes.
It's an interesting question.
I know the answer. He
Thanos
was
was
wrong.
wrong. He wasn't right, but sometimes.
You think it sometimes. You think it. Okay, let's say you can choose
Snap your
any
ass away.
song ever written by any band, and you can change that song to where you're the one who wrote it, and it was your song. What song would it be, and why?
Oh my god, that's a really good question, and I don't.
Yes.
There's so many that I don't. Oh gosh, if it's just one, I mean, any single Beatles song, because then I'll
Yeah,
be
so-
set for life.
Yeah, exactly.
I couldn't imagine.
Yeah. I mean, not just because it's just such a great song, but yeah, I mean, yeah,
It's like a million a day, basically.
I know. It's unbelievable. Must be nice.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I really don't.
there's so many. Like there's there's a lot.
I'm trying to think of what I think one of the most perfect songs is, and I think there's a few of them. But I
Yeah.
can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
Dylan. The times they are changing. Marvin Gaye, what's going on? Queen, Bohemian Rhapsody. All of these are just songs that are just like, how did somebody write that? You know what I mean? Like, who thinks of it? It's incredible, you know, just some of the greatest songs ever written.
Well, thank you guys for being on my show. It's been a pleasure speaking with you guys. I can't
Hey,
wait to
bud.
see you guys back in Buffalo. It's been a pleasure speaking with you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, drop us a line, man. We'll see you in Buffalo.
We get a chance to do it again when we put out a new song or something like that. We'll get JC in front of you.
Yep.
It
Talk
would
to
be a
her.
pleasure. Thank you
Cool.
guys.
Thanks,
Have a nice
buddy.
night, guys.
Bye.
See you, man.
Bye.